Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the next HamCorp training manual. The HamCorp board of directors has been quite displeased with me for straying from the energizing, motivating, and definitely relatable corporate format that you grew to love in the Gregtech New Horizons training manual. Rest assured, any consequences I face as CEO will most certainly trickle down to you, dear employees. So, we have decided that you require more training again. This time, I will show you how to make not just one Stargate, but two. And while we're at it, as a reward towards the end of the pack, some shareholders will be joining us. This is Star Technology, a 1.20 Gregtech Modern pack. It's a skyblock mod pack meant to be played on peaceful and has no magic, at least not the type that you're used to. We will travel through 7 chapters of progression. Starting with nothing more than a tree and some dirt, we will start our progress towards industrial utopia with some create. I know, create is overused, but consider this. I have no real experience with create and have no create fatigue or knowledge. Wouldn't you love to watch me struggle? Yeah, I love being relatable to the grunts. After create, we get into Gregtech proper, advancing through the voltage tiers until we get to the classic Stargate. I won't spoil too much now, but after that, we'll have to build a second Stargate. And after that, well, you'll have to see who comes to visit. Let's get started. So let's take a look at this quest book. On the welcome page, there's a couple of quests here, and I've already read through them and checked them off. There's also a couple of quests here about AE2 channels to turn them off, turn them on, or make them easier. I'm just going to leave it at default. I don't mind dealing with channels. On the next page, mechanics, there are a couple of quests here that detail a bunch of mechanics. I'm going to come back to these when they're actually unlocked and relevant. But there's also this whole subsection about processing lines, which I am very excited to get to. I love line slop. That's not sarcasm, I really do. There's also the classic Gregtech circuit progression page, which usually ends at wetware, but this time we have more. We have runic wetware, we have draconic wetware, and we have awakened draconic wetware. So that's pretty cool. There's also a resource production page that details, resource production. This will probably be very useful for me. There's also a page for power sources, applied energistics, mystical agriculture, which honestly I've never played before, but I know the deal about mystical ag. There's also quality of life stuff, which is going to be very useful. But for now, let's get into the early game. I've already chopped down the tree, so I have some wood. This gives me Star T coins, which I can spend in the shop. That's pretty nice. Next up, we're going to get some cobblestone by doing something Gregtech players never do. We're going to touch grass. This gets me pebbles. 4 different types of pebbles. The stone ones give you cobblestone, of course. The andesite ones give you andesite. Diorite gets you diorite. And obviously, granite gets you granite. The granite and diorite ones are kind of useless, so I'm basically only going to use them for building. And the andesite one is mostly used for create. So the one that I'm mainly after right now is just regular old stone. So let's craft the first piece of cobblestone. Planting my saplings, picking up some rocks. Oh yeah, that's a lot of pebbles. I'm gonna start converting these into cobblestone. They don't have any other use, so I may as well convert it all into blocks. I'm also gonna make a crafting table really quick, because I would like to make a crook. This is gonna be needed for progression. I'm gonna make a granite crook because granite is kind of useless. And with this, I can get silkworms, and from that I can get string. So I need these saplings to grow, and so I'm gonna torque on them. And if I break the leaves with the crook, I get a bunch of saplings and also some silkworms. Now these silkworms I'm going to use to infest the leaves on these trees, and this should spread pretty soon and we should get a bunch of string. In the meantime, I'm going to get more rocks. Alright, it's spread pretty sufficiently, and I'm going to break a bunch of it, and oh, I need to use the crook. Damn it. Okay, I'm going to break a bunch of it with the crook, and I get a bunch of string and more silkworms. I'm also going to get a bunch of wood here. This is going to be useful too. Obviously, it's wood. And I would like to make a composter and an oak crucible so that I can use the extra saplings to make bone meal and water. Here's the composter and a crucible. I'm going to fill these up with some extra saplings. I need quite a few for the composter. And I think the crucible only holds 3. I'm going to put the rest in the composter. And I'm going to plant some more. I need to get more. This still needs more to fill up to get my bone meal. That's fine. The crucible though is melting the saplings into water because that makes sense, I guess. While that happens, I'm actually going to get more planks so that I can expand the platform. Planks seem to be the quickest thing to get a lot of right now because it's 1 to 4. So I'm going to do that for a little bit. Check this out. This mod pack has effortless building. So I can build shapes without needing any special tools. I'm going to make a floor, for example, and the way this works is I set a starting point. And then I can place an endpoint, and it just places the entire floor. Isn't that so nice? This is going to make expanding the platform pretty effortless, and this is going to be very easy to expand. But I do not plan to lawn base. I mean, I have to in the very beginning because I don't have materials to make actual nice blocks, but I'm doing a little bit of a back to my roots thing, so I'm going to do my usual building style again. Anyway, let's make a furnace. And by a furnace, I mean 8 furnace. I can also effortless place these, so it places all of them at once. Pretty nice. I'm also going to make these hammers out of the junk material. I'm going to make a couple of them. And with these hammers, I can convert cobblestone into gravel, into sand, into dust. And we begin by using Ex Nihilo, which is another mod that people seem to hate, but honestly, I have barely played with Ex Nihilo, so I don't really mind. The only annoying part is I kind of have to break these by hand and place them by hand. But luckily the effortless building makes this very, very painless. Super easy. Now I can generate more dirt. And the way to do this is by combining dirt and gravel to make coarse dirt, and then sifting the coarse dirt to get dirt back, and some gravel. And because of the drop chances here, this is effectively doubling my dirt. This does need a string mesh and a sieve, of course, so I need to make these. And that is, in fact, exactly what I'm going to do next. But I do want to expand a little bit more first. That's a little bit better. This is a little bit better. I've also got my first bone meal and my first bucket of water. Now let's make a couple of sifters and set these up. 4 to start. Definitely not enough. I feel like a little rat, dude. Like squeezing past over here. String meshes are easy to make. I'm going to make a bunch. And now, a lot of materials are unlocked. Because I can sift the gravel for copper, sphalerite, magnetite, iron, and tin. And I can sift the sand for emeralds, amethyst, lapis, nether quartz, and diamonds. And I can sift dust for glowstone, ender pearls, sulfur, and redstone. So let's get started. Luckily I can just hold down right click on one of these. I don't have to sieve each thing independently. Thank God for that. Now I'm gonna need some chests because this is gonna be a lot of items. I'm already full. Yeah, okay. Quick little storage area. Oh yeah, you can do this. That's so weird to me. I'm never gonna get used to this. I'm gonna try and keep this sorted, but that's not gonna stay sorted for very long, to be honest. Okay, I'm gonna sift everything I have and then take a look at where to go from here. I'm also gonna get some more dirt. Now the main thing that I need to sift in order to continue is going to be gravel, because gravel gets me iron, and iron is the foundation of basically everything. However, I get my gravel from beating up some cobblestone, and I get my cobblestone from touching grass, and I do not like touching grass. So I'm gonna make myself a wooden barrel, which is going to allow me to make clay, which, along with the bone meal from the composter, lets me make porcelain clay. And that lets me make a crucible, which will let me make lava. And we already have water from the oak crucible, so you know what happens when you combine water and lava. And once we automate water more properly, perhaps with a 2x2 pool of water, we can pump water into a stone barrel, and that just makes cobblestone forever, automatically. One thing I haven't tested is if water is infinite in the 2x2 pool orientation, so that is something I need to check out, but I'm now noticing I think I screwed up. I don't have a sapling left. Luckily there is an emergency items a button, an emergency items button over here that allows me to claim an oak sapling. And the answer is yes. We do have infinite water from a 2x2. Oh, ew, this has durability? I guess that's fair. I cannot use a partially consumed bucket to make the wooden barrel. That's something I just discovered. Anyway, wooden barrel. To make my first clay, I gotta dunk some dust into a barrel filled with water. Easy enough. Now I gotta get a bunch more bone meal to convert this into porcelain clay, so I'm gonna get to chopping. I need a lot of wood. While I gather up some more saplings, I'm also gonna start smelting some oak logs into charcoal, because I'd like to make some shears. It's just iron, It's basically free. And with those shears, I can get leaves, and I think leaves might be a better compostable material than saplings. I mean, even if it's like a lower success chance or whatever, this is still better because I can get so many more of them than saplings. Anyway, here's the porcelain clay, which I'm going to turn promptly into an unfired crucible, which I'm going to smelt into a crucible. Now, I have foolishly not laid my hands on the clay, so this quest is incomplete. I may as well make a second crucible, to be honest. Why not? Cool. Now, coke oven would be nice, but I really want to get cobblestone first. So, let's get some tools. Ooh, that's a lot of Gregtech tools. I think I only actually need the hammer for now. This is very easy to make though, just 6 iron. Classic recipe. Now, to make this stone barrel, which is what I need to cook up some stone, get some stone slabs as well, and make a genuine bucket. This needs iron plates, which I can make with the hammer. Alright. Melting cobblestone with a torch. Truly a classic of all time. Also, I've made the stone barrel, but I'm now realizing I don't think I actually have a way to pump water into it automatically. So I might just do like a vanilla cobblestone generator for now. Nothing special here. Cobble gen. Diggy diggy hole. Now I'm wondering where to go from here. There's a few different options. I think I should start with the coke bricks. That's probably the best. I can't imagine I'm going to regret doing this first, so I just need to make a bunch of coke oven bricks, and this is just clay and sand. Classic. Not going to be too hard, and for the controller I need 4 iron plates and also a wrench. No issue at all. I also need to make a coke oven hatch for automation. This needs a wooden barrel, which in turn needs some sticky resin. For sticky resin I need slime balls, and to get that, there's actually a little bit more I need to do. I can get these slitake spores, I guess, from mud sieving, and mud I can make by soaking dirt in water in the barrel. Dirt is a little bit annoying to make because I have to duplicate it with the coarse dirt. It's a bit but I need to do it. I also need to fry my iron on a campfire to make wrought iron. That would also be pretty useful. But most of all, I really want to get into Create. This is like the 4th time in my life I've wanted to get into Create, and I've just never been able to. But this is definitely the one. Maybe I should start with this. It needs iron nuggets and andesite. And then I'm going to make a large water wheel. I don't think these recipes are particularly different from vanilla Create, as far as I'm aware. So it's just andesite alloy to make shafts, with some planks to make a water wheel, with some more planks to make a large water wheel. And then setting it up is basically about as far as I've gotten in Create. I do know you set up some cogs and shit, and you get machines going, but that's all I know. So I'm going to work on these 2 things at once, I think. But first things first, I need to gather a whole bunch of cobblestone, and then grind it up into gravel. Okay, let's make 4 water wheels. More has got to be better, right? Now, this has unlocked a couple of different quests. I don't really know anything about any of them except for the bulk smash quest. I have used mechanical press before, so I know how this works. But this is kind of nice. It lets me make plates for half the price. And while my resource production isn't automated, I think I do actually care about that. I'm going to craft up a mechanical press as well. And then I'm going to set up the water wheels. I think I know how to do this. It's pretty straightforward. It's just like you put water on the sides of it and then it starts to spin and then you connect an axle to this thing. So we'll see. I think I get it, but who knows. I always thought this was really cool, that this is how you make andesite casings. That's pretty cool. I like it. You know what? You're all wrong. Create's a good mod. Watch the next episode to find out if I eat my words. Guys, did I do this right? Any Create geniuses? Did I do this right? I did this right, right? I did this right. Right. Now to hook up this mechanical press, it is that simple. And I just need to place a depot below it. No, 1 more block below. Here. Right? I think. Let's make an iron plate. Oh boy. Okay, that's not very fast. Now I know that that's because these are spinning really slowly. I know they have a high stress capacity but low rotation speed. What I don't know is how to speed it up. Probably with some gears, right? Gear ratio something? Or is it called cog? Yeah, it's called cog. I'm gonna play around with it, see if I can get this to be a lot faster. Okay, this is a little goofy, but it works. Big wheel into small wheel. Connected to big wheel into small wheel. Connected to big wheel into small wheel. Connected to big wheel into small wheel. Well, it works. Let's try it out. I bet this is comical. Waiter, waiter, one more iron ingot, please. Oh yeah, that's way better. Cool. This is actually fun. Like, I think I could do a lot of decorational awesomeness with this, to be honest. I need more blocks. I need bit. Favorite block in the world. I need bit. Oh, this needs real coal. Oh man, okay. I feel like the blocks I want to build with are gonna be a little difficult to get, but I want to decorate with create, even if it stops being useful, because I know it's optional. So I'm sure it'll stop being useful pretty soon. I still want to just set up a bunch of rotating cogs, just moving pieces as decoration. I think that would be cool, even if they serve no purpose. Okay, I should really work on coke oven though, so this means mud. Cool stuff. I am missing the one item I actually need, but it is what it is. Ooh, my iron's done cooking into iron. Oh yeah, I made a campfire. Did I say that? So EMI has this cool crafting chain thing that I'm sort of starting to get used to, and it can do a little bit of math for me. So if I set the number here to 29, it shows me what I need for 29 coke oven bricks, which is how many I need for one coke oven, and it's 117 clay and 195 sand. Well, I have a bit of work to do. I'll be back soon. I think a slight reprioritization is in order though, because I need a bunch of water to make this clay, and it is very, very tiring to fill up the barrel by hand. But I think if I make an aqueous accumulator from Thermal Series, I can just automatically output the water into the barrel. And while we're at it, if I make a second one, I can automatically output water into the stone barrel, and that automates cobblestone. So I think the aqueous accumulator is the way to go first. To do this, I need lead, for which I need blackstone to sieve, for which I need witch water. This is easy to make though. Need some mycelium spores, which I have, and a bucket of water. I do have to change the barrel mode to barrel transformation, and this should make me a little bit of witch water. But the painful part is the witch water is consumed in making the blackstone, so I need to make quite a bit of witch water. And I'm gonna have to bucket this stuff for now, which sucks, but that's fine. I'm gonna make a second barrel so I don't have to keep switching modes and stuff. But I will be back with some lead and an aqueous accumulator. Hey, wait a minute. This is a Gregtech machine. I can auto output. Yes, I can. Very nice. I got my glass dust, lead ingots, redstone servo, and aqueous accumulator. I'm putting this straight over here. And to finish setting it up, water. Now this just makes water. And surely, there's some way to output water automatically, right? Surely. Introducing fluid pipe from pipes. This needs a bit of bronze and some copper. This shouldn't be too bad. Making bronze is your classic bronze dust recipe from copper and tin. And I do have tin. I just have to smelt it and then grind it with the mortar. Same with the copper. Oh yeah, look at these pipes. To get this to actually pull, I needed to shift right click this bottom section, and now it's pulling water out of this and putting it into the barrel. Nice. So which water is coming in? I really should automate cobblestone, so I'm gonna do that next. Actually, I could do that right here. Yeah. Oh yes. This is the start of industry. I did have to set the program circuit to 0, by the way, which is distinct from not having a program circuit, apparently. So when I get to 82, I'm gonna have to do a bit of a different naming scheme than I usually do, but that's fine. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's so much better. That's so much better. Now, I would also like to automate converting this into gravel, and I think this is probably the best way, with some crushing wheels from Create. I love these things. They look so cool. I've never used them though. There's also a millstone from Create, but I think the crushing wheels are better. I think they have a higher throughput. I remember reading that in the quest. Over here, they have a set amount of time they need to process their items based on RPM, but can process up to a stack at a time. So with smart chutes, I can put in a stack at a time. Okay, so this would be pretty cool to get. Can I make smart chutes though? I need brass, which I can make. I need a chute, which I can make. And I need an electron tube, which I think I can make with a bit of effort. It would be really nice to just have resource generation done in episode 1, but I think that is too much. Instead, I am now going to focus on the coke oven. I do want to finish the coke oven before I stop. So let's go. At least now that cobble is passive, getting a bunch of resources shouldn't be too difficult. There's the bricks and the controller. Now, I kind of want to tear down this diorite thing that I've made because it's not really needed anymore. Bam, gone. Vaporized. And I'm going to put my coke oven right here. Now let's get some logs cooking. I need some creosote. And that is a pretty good spot to stop for now. Thank you for watching the first episode of the HamCorp Star Technology Training Manual. In the next episode, we will set up the first few primitive multi-blocks to help with the resource generation. We will also include a bit of create to help streamline the process. Also, because Big Cog make Big Hog happy. HamCorp would like to onboard all new employees by referring you to our Discord server, linked in the description. We hope to see you collaborating and communicating often with other colleagues, since, as we all know, looking busy is far more important and a much better indicator of success than actually getting anything done. See you next time. That part wasn't a joke, by the way.